let's do this. Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. What? What's up, Steam Deck fans? You know, Steam Deck Tribe, Steam Deck Nation, Steam Deck Universe, Steam Deck World, Steam Deck Legion, what's good? Steam Deck Mob, what's happening? We outside. The Steam Deck Squad, what's up? Look, we talking about our resident, we talking about The Last of Us and Counter-Strike. Look, when it comes to The Last of Us situation, right? If Sony's bringing their games to Steam, right? So they need to have at least 3 PCs that they call workbenches. Workbench. 3 PCs, right? You need one with an AMD graphics card in it. You need another PC with an Intel graphics card, and you need another PC with the NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, right? And then there's the Steam Deck. So you need to run tests. Before you can bring the game to Steam, you need to run a test on these graphics cards and see what problems come up. And if a problem come up, now communication comes into play, because now you got to call Valve, and then you have to call NVIDIA, then you have to call AMD, and then you have to call Intel and say, look, we're trying to bring The Last of Us to PC, but we're running into an issue with one of your graphics card, and then go on from there. Communication is key in all this. Okay, so before you can bring a game to Steam, communication should be priority one. Because if you run into a problem, sure, the developer is making the game, but after they make the game and they're testing it and they're running into problems, they got to call the video card manufacturers. They got to call like Valve or even Microsoft, and or even a motherboard manufacturer, and say, okay, we're trying to bring this game to PC, and we're having an issue with your motherboard, your graphics card, or your operating system. What can be done about this before we bring it to Steam? And the name of the game is communication. So communication is priority one in this video game industry, especially when you got all these email service like Yahoo Mail, Gmail, Hotmail, Thunderbird, or even the one on Safari, Apple, and then you have social media. So communication is key in all this. Now, when it comes to the Last of Us situation, look, listen to this. I got 2 articles here, and then when it comes to the Steam Deck, now we know the Steam Deck is a portable PC, right? And it's powerful. So okay, on the RAM side of things, now The Last of Us should be running on at least 13 gigs of RAM. Okay, 14, 15, 16. The other 3 is for the operating system, the files within the operating systems, and the different apps that you install. And plus the other 3 gigs is for updates. So when it comes to putting games on the Steam Deck, that's how you got to think. You can't make a game that takes up all the RAM. You got to leave some for the OS, the expansions, the updates, and the files within the operating system. Listen to this. Got this little article, y'all. First, Counter-Strike. Listen to this. It says here, Counter-Strike 2 limited test trick won't work, Valve confirms. Says with the Counter-Strike 2 release date on its way, everyone wants in to Counter-Strike 2 limit tests, but a trick related to the FPS, meaning first-person shooter game Counter-Strike Go, won't work, says Valve. Says Counter-Strike 2 release date is rapidly approaching, with the new Source 2 version of Valve flagship FPS game expect to bring new weapons, maps, and skins when it comes to launches later this year. Right now, however, the Counter-Strike 2 limit test is all we care about, with a access only being offered to a selected Counter-Strike Go players. It seems there was a trick for accessing the Steam shooter on the sly. Valve, however, say it won't work. Boo. Says here, we've already compiled all the Counter-Strike changes covering everything from the new smoke grenades, reworked weapons design, and map rebuilt in Source 2. Naturally, we are all eager to try it out. In fact, Counter-Strike Go just smashed its previous player count record as the hype around Valve's 10th pole shooter intensified massively. Says here, Counter-Strike 2 limit test, however, is only available to selected players. Streamers, Counter-Strike Go pros, Valve content creators, and people with massive amount of global offensive playtime seems to be first in line, as it's this final category that at one point seems exploitable. No more exploit. Sorry, Counter-Strike players. Valve was on it. Anyway, it says here, if you hang around in Counter-Strike Go lobbies long enough, just leave your PC running with Counter-Strike open in the background. It will push your playtime up, and maybe flag you at Valve for the Counter-Strike 2 beta. Right? Wrong. Says here, idling on official matchmaking server in Counter-Strike Go does not increase your chances of making it in the Counter-Strike 2 limited test. Valve says, empathetically, the playtime that counts was your playtime prior to the start of the limit test. So it says, sorry everyone, looks like we'll have to wait it out until either Counter-Strike 2 gets an expanded public test or the full Counter-Strike 2 launch in the summer. In the meantime, it looks like Counter-Strike Anti-Cheat is getting a full rework and will automatically cancel Counter-Strike 2 matches in the progress. Then it says, all your time from Global Offensive will carry over to Counter-Strike 2, so make sure you've got the best Counter-Strike crosshairs. As we wait for summer, you might also want to check out some of the other beta-free Steam games available. Yeah. Valve is not taking no shorts or losses, so they were those tricks that you got away with in the first Counter-Strike or Counter-Strike Go. Nah, it won't work in Counter-Strike 2. So you guys got to adjust. Anyway, now back to now for The Last of Us. Okay, now The Last of Us system requirements, The Last of Us PC requirements include the recommended specs and minimum requirements to run the game, plus Steam downsize for Part 1. It says here, what are The Last of Us system requirements? The original version of the classic PlayStation action adventure game may be almost 10 years old now, but don't expect to run it on similarly old hardware. In fact, the remaster of The Last of Us is fairly demanding on PC. But PC gamers know the rules. They always got to keep their PCs up to the highest level to keep up with video games. They know. That's why they go get like one of those Asus motherboards that holds at least 100 gig plus of RAM or so, to keep up with video games. They know the rules. Anyway, it says here, meet The Last of Us requirements may prove challenging for budget builds. It's not too challenging on the CPU or GPU front, but you'll need at least 16 gigs of gaming RAM to join Joel, Ellie on their cross-country journey. Yeah, step your game up. If they want 16, that means you got. If you're gaming on PC, you need at least. I would say start off with 64 gigs of RAM in your desktop to play today's games, just to be on the safe side. Make sure you're running Windows. I say Windows, probably Windows 10 or Windows 11. If you have one of the latest graphics card, and a good SSD on your PC to keep up with with today's games, because right now we're in March, and as every month goes by, you know, the games they get up there in specs. So keep your PCs up to date. Anyway, so here are the Last of Us system requirements. Minimum OS Windows 10 64-bit, CPU Intel Core i7 4770K, AMD Ryzen 5 1500X, RAM 16 gigabytes, GPU NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970, AMD Radeon RX 470, storage 100 gigabytes of solid state drive. Yeah, you have to keep your PCs up to code, man, when it comes to playing games on PC, if you want to get the best out of it. Anyway, now recommended Windows 10 64-bit, Intel Core i7 8700, AMD Ryzen 5 3600X, 16 gigs of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070, that's GPU, and then AMD Ryzen RX 5700 XT, 100 gigabyte of solid state drive. Yeah, step your game up. If you're gonna game on PC, there's no half step. There's no shortcuts here. There's no half stepping. You have to have the latest, man, to keep up with these games. Anyway, says here, and if you don't, you know what I'm saying, make sure you get one of them motherboards that holds a lot of RAM on it, you know, because that's gonna come in handy. And you know, make sure you're using the latest PCIe of a graphics card, RAM, stuff like that. Oh yeah, got to keep your PCs up to date if you want to game on PCs. Anyway, it says here, just bear in mind that if your graphics card is comparable to NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970 or Radeon RX 470, you should only expect 30 frames at 720 using the lowest preset. Says here, moving up the Last of Us recommended specs, you will need to have hexa-core processor akin to Intel's Core i7 8700 or AMD Ryzen 5 3600X. Additionally, your pixel pushing power level needs to keep up with NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super or AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT. Yeah, it says here, hardware of this caliber should be good enough for 60 frames per second at 1080p using the highest preset. However, since The Last of Us support NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR2, you may be able to boost FPS higher than this. Then it says The Last of Us size comes in at 100 gigabytes. Developer Naughty Dog outright say you'll need a solid state drive no matter what, so be sure to install it on the best SSD you have rather than a hard drive. Step your game up, folks. It says here, naturally, The Last of Us PC has a couple of features that its PlayStation counterpart lacks, namely those with the best gaming monitor with a 21.9 aspect ratio. You'll be able to enjoy native ultra-wide support. It says, meanwhile, The Last of Us also supports the PlayStation DualSense pad, making it a shoe-in for the best PC controller to experience the game with. It says here, The Last of Us PC has arrived, but its launch was plagued by negative Steam reviews. Thankfully, Naughty Dog says it's actively investigating multiple issues, so a patch will hopefully arrive soon. That said, a lack of optimization means TLOU PC specs are law. So don't try to skimp out in parts if you want to avoid hardware hiccups. See what I mean? Step your game up. Says here, step your game up, man. But then it says here, wondering whether the Last of Us Steam Deck compatibility is a thing. Well, you're in luck. as it works on handhelds, but as way to go before it will achieve verified status. Take the Last of Us system test over on PC benchmark to answer the question, can I run The Last of Us? And that's the end of the article. So yeah, for all you PC gamers, you know you PC gamers, you know the rules. This is nothing new here. You know the rules. I'm talking about you PC gamers from the Duke Nukem days, Quake 1 days, Doom days, Unreal Gaming days. Yeah, I fall in that category. So I'm just messing with y'all. Look, you know the rules, man. You know the rules for PC games. Ain't no half stepping, okay? Ain't no excuses. You have to keep your PCs up to up to par, man, to run these games. And you have to stay ahead of the curve, man. So if you see a motherboard that costs you about $300 to $400 and it holds a lot of RAM on it, and plus you can put like 2 GPU graphics card on it, get it, okay? Because you're gonna need it, you know. And get you the latest graphics card if you can, like the second, like you got the latest, and then the one below it, like the second. Get one of those, man, and you're good to go. You know, when it comes to playing games on PC. Like the article said, you need solid state drive. Solid state drives are the standard. The Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 jumped on it right away. And then Valve did the same thing with the Steam Deck. So yeah, you gotta have a solid state drive in today's gaming market to play video games, man. So when it comes to playing games on our PC, you need to keep your PC up to standard. PCs are high maintenance, so every year the rules to video games have changed on PC. So when they come out with the latest operating system and the latest tech, jump on it, because that's where video games come in. And when the games come out and they say, okay, you need this, and this, you better have it, man, or you can't play the game. So you have to keep your PC up to standard, man, to run PC games. And for all those gamers that was playing Duke Nukem, Quake, Unreal back in the day, and are still playing video games today, they know the rules. they ain't forgot, you know. So they were already on it. They knew the rules. I mean, think of it: Duke Nukem, Quake, Unreal, and what else? Was the System Shock days, when PCs were saying, when you buy the operating system for your PC, right, on the side of the box it says, I need this, and this, right? That's for the operating system, right? But then the operating system now, it has service packs. And when that comes in now, it has its own set of RAMs, its own set of specs that it needs. The base model operating system is already running. But the expansion now, when they come in, when the expansion comes in, the expansion is like, okay, I need this, and this to add on top of the base model OS. Oh yeah. So PC gamers from that time, they know the rules. They're used to it, so they're on it. So that's why they're able to they love gaming on PC because of the keyboard, mouse, and all that. But they know the rules when it comes to PC gaming, that they got to have top of the line gaming, you know. So when they hear these specs, they're like, oh, we were already on it. They were like, okay, when AMD and Nvidia, okay, announced this graphics card that was coming, we already had our money saved for it already. We were waiting for it. So yeah, they are on it. So when it comes to PCs, man, PCs are high maintenance. And you have to keep your PCs up to date, you know. You should have at least 2 PCs. One running Windows 10 and one running Windows 11 if you're a Windows gamer. The same thing goes for Linux, and you know, go on from there. So you have to keep your PCs up to date, man, to run video games. You know, if you're a PC gamer, you know the #1 rule: always have your PCs in top shape to play today's games. you know. So yeah, gaming on PC is is very demanding, man. Very demanding, and you know when they um, it's all about putting your money together. You know, putting your money together and getting the the latest. Having the latest, getting a good motherboard that a good motherboard that holds a lot of RAM on it. That's one. You're gonna need that. You definitely need that. And then getting a good graphics card. That's one. A good sound card. A good keyboard and mouse. Get some good speakers. All that, man. So PC games are very very high maintenance, man. So PC gamers of old, they know the rules. They don't complain. They were already on it. Now for people that are trying to game on PC now, you have to keep your PCs up to date to play video games on PC. You have to. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcuts. There's no loopholes. There's no half stepping. You have to have a good gaming PC to play games on PC. And go with the standard. If the standard is solid state, then you need to have a solid state drive in your PC. Okay? If the standard is okay, DLSS 3, and the video card manufacturer say, okay, you need to have a 4070, 4080, 4090 to do it, go with it. You have to go with the with the demands. So yeah, PC game. It's fun to play games on PC, but when you're trying to build a game in PC, there is no half stepping. There's no loopholes. There's no shortcuts. You got to put some money together, and be ready to spend some money to build your PC. Because getting the case is one thing. You got to have the right size case. That's number one. Then you got to have the right size, right power supply, right? Because the power supply supplies power to the PC. The electricity outside your house is running on AC current, but when it gets to the computer, that power supply now converts it to DC, so the computer can handle it. So when it comes to power supply, you got to get a very good one, because half the power of that power supply goes to the graphics card. That's right out the gate. The rest goes to the motherboard and the other components within the computer. You got to get that, right? Then you got to get you a nice heat sink. The size of your desktop is one thing. The power supply is another. You got to get a nice heat sink. That's another. You got to have enough space in your computer so air can flow. So if you don't have enough air in your computer, then your computer freezes up. So got to have that. Then you get your graphics card. Then you get your sound card. All that. Then you got to get the operating system. That's another thing. A solid state drive, a Blu-ray drive, and all that, and put it all together. So yep, never shortchange yourself when it comes to PCs. Never, you have to spend some money, man. There's no loopholes or shortcuts when it comes to gaming on PCs. But do your research. Make sure you get a motherboard that holds a lot of RAM on it. Not 16, not 32, not 64, 64 and above. So you want to get one that holds a lot of RAM on it. So, because when it comes to running those games, man, oh yeah, you'll see the difference, man. So, you got to spend money on the board, the RAM, the power supply, the video card, the heat sink, CPU, all that, man. So, yeah, put some money together to get a good gaming PC to play these games, because the rules to video games always change every year. The video card manufacturers, motherboard, sound cards, they're always working on new hardware. So every year when PC when the rules change, you have to change with it, or you're gonna get left behind. So when it comes to PCs, man, you have to have a good gaming PC to play video games. Anyway, leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Bored, dark side. Go.